Okay, so we're gonna be checking out Mimiyori's why women love this fan service anime, which to be clear is my dress up darling. But yeah, I've never actually watched the anime myself. I mean, I've seen like the occasional reaction vid, but other than that, not really seen anything. Though I have done some fan art of the series that I've not watched, like a true Twitter artist. And I've also seen some great little animation clips from the series, very salacious. Yeah, fan service in those cases is a very apt term for what's going on there. But yeah, it does seem like a story that really respects the cosplay scene, which that's probably why. Well, that specifically has earned a lot of goodwill from that crowd, which is a big part of the anime crowd in general, and that's probably why, among other reasons, among lots of other reasons, why this story is so popular in general, and then unsurprisingly why it'd be so popular with women. I mean, it is a fan service anime, but like it's just that it services every fan, not instead of just a select few. So I mean, I guess the solution to the fan service discourse that kind of plagues anime so much was just to just service all the fans. If everyone's getting fan service, and like what do you have to complain about?
It's rare to see an ecchi anime beloved by so many women online, but My Dress Up Darling breaks the mold. How come? Today, we're diving into why Marin Kitagawa and this unexpected rom-com have charmed a female audience.
Oh, yep. And as always, putting the notes up here. Sometimes I don't always have something. I don't always have little notes to add, but just in case, I want to be there.
Despite the abundant fan service. Written and illustrated by Shinichi Fukuda, My Dress Up Darling, or its original Japanese name, Sono Bisku Doru.
I love the
My Dress Up Darling
parental advisory. Oh wait, let me see if we can. Let me move myself out of the way. Or rather, parental advisory for the English release, but not for the Japanese one.
Or its original Japanese name, Sono Bisku Doru wa Koi o Suru, began its
that name is a mouthful. I'm very happy that they changed it to My Dress Up Darling. It was trying to get reference fan art for that aforementioned art that I did years ago was not fun.
As a manga back in 2018 in Young Gangan magazine. The story follows Wakana Gojo, a first-year high school student who loves Hina dolls, a Japanese style of doll that wear traditional Heian period clothing. These Hina dolls are handcrafted with incredible precision and given delicate, unique, beautiful features by the painter. Gojo's grandfather owns a shop dedicated to the dolls, and ever since he was a child has been infatuated with them and dreamed of becoming a kashirashi, or Hina doll maker. After being made fun of by a childhood friend for having a girly interest,
"You're a freak!"
Damn.
"What's wrong with you, Wakana? Dolls are for girls. Boys aren't supposed to play with them. You're not my friend. I hate you!"
I mean, shit.
Gojo resigns himself to living a lonely life.
No wonder the kid got so traumatized. That's like, you're talking about uncalled for.
Of only focusing on his craft, rather than making connections for fear of being hated because of what he loves.
To be fair, he could have gone all incel on everyone's ass, but he chose to focus on his interests. So definitely the better option.
Working on the clothing for a Hina doll, Gojo's sewing machine breaks, forcing him to use the one at his school after hours. There, he meets Marin Kitagawa, an extraordinarily beautiful, popular, friendly girl in his class. Marin is blown away by Gojo's ability to sew and admires his Hina doll, making her the first person to show an interest in Gojo's hobby. Marin then explains that she wants to make her own cosplay so that she can become her favorite character, Shizuku-tan, despite knowing nothing about sewing. Because of the kindness Marin showed Gojo, he agrees to help her create a cosplay from scratch with his genius sewing prowess. From there, the couple grow closer, and Gojo slowly opens up more and more to Marin as they keep working together on more cosplays. It's a romantic comedy slice of life with ecchi elements. Like I mentioned before, My Dress-Up Darling was serialized in a seinen magazine, Young Gangan. Seinen is a genre that caters towards adult men, and popular stories in the genre are often dark, gritty dramas. However, it's also the case that seinen magazines are typically filled to the brim with sexy women and ecchi manga. If you don't know what ecchi means, I'll briefly explain it. Basically, it's a subgenre for anime and manga that contain a lot of sexual content and imagery without explicitly being pornographic. My Dress-Up Darling is certainly one of those cases.
That High School DxD ending, pole dancing animations, where they were crazy. As someone who was a young man during that time, I'll let you imagine. I'll let you imagine what I did with that.
Explicitly being pornographic. My Dress-Up Darling is certainly one of those cases, and if you don't believe me, just watch episode 2. Most Western fans refer to these moments as fan service, and it's not uncommon to see ecchi scenes.
I mean, I don't think that's a Western fan thing, right? Like, they do call it? I mean, normally they might call it like sabisu or like service, basically, but like, I don't think it's strictly. I mean, maybe it's more common to refer to it, and certainly I think there's a lot more discourse around it in the Western sphere than there is in Japan, but they do. For sure, the Japanese do use like that might be where the term, at least in the anime community, like came from. But
in genres other than seinen, but I can say with confidence that My Dress-Up Darling is much more sexual overall than something like Bleach, for example.
Oh yes.
Ecchi shows are often made for the male gaze, and most women I know aren't really interested in the genre. So why does this one resonate differently?
Why be rude about it? Making fun of the things people like is not hot.
Marin isn't a passive object. She's driven, passionate, and in control of her sexuality. She gets shy in certain situations where it would make sense to, but overall she feels very comfortable with herself and isn't ashamed of her body. Marin proudly expresses her love of erotic games, even though it's a pretty taboo and strange hobby to have. Her favorite character and first cosplay, Shizuku-tan, is from one such game.
Shizuku Kuroe-tan, from Saint Slippery's Academy for Girls Young Ladies of the Humiliation Club.
I'm sorry, what?
Despite the game being a super hardcore eroge, Marin spouts off its content to Gojo like it's nothing.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, as a VTuber fan, enjoyer, and I guess kind of half VTuber myself, yeah, this is not surprising at all for to me. I mean, there are the female gooner, like ecchi lover audience is like big in that space. So I mean, I don't find it too surprising. I mean, obviously in real life, yeah, you're not gonna find either male or female self-professed gooners, but definitely online where people feel safe to express that part of themselves. Yeah, it's you'll find that the women are just as horny as the men. This is, and oftentimes way more depraved, in that way only like a repressed person can be.
Dumbfounded, spouts off its content to Gojo like it's nothing, who is completely dumbfounded by its degeneracy. But Marin doesn't know this because she doesn't see this type of interest to be shameful or embarrassing. She likes it, so she's gonna talk about it, regardless of what people think of her. Marin's love for cosplay and eroge feels relatable and empowering, especially to women with niche or unconventional hobbies. And like Marin says,
when you find something that you're really excited about, does gender matter?
Speaking of gender, while I was looking through this official My Dress-Up Darling fanbook, I noticed a quote from the character designer and chief animation director Kazumasu Ishida that really caught my eye. The interviewer asks, "What was it about Marin that appealed to you?" And he replies with,
"She's straightforward, full of confidence, and delightful to watch in action. She may be an otaku, but she's accepted by her peers. In a sense, she's unbeatable. She chases her dreams without a hint of irony. I don't think there's anything about her that would turn off audiences of any gender. Finally, I love the way she looks, of course.
Right.
Kazumasu is an incredible animation director who also worked on Wonder Egg Priority, which has strikingly beautiful animation despite its many controversies. It's no wonder that the anime adaptation of My Dress-Up Darling looks so gorgeous with someone like him involved. When Kazumasu said, "I don't think there's anything about her that would turn off audiences of any gender," I thought, wow, that's such an interesting line from one of the head creators of the anime, and it really is true.
Yeah.
Marin is nearly unhateable by both male and female viewers. Her personality is just that great.
I mean, this is the kind of person who I think could like fucking reform incels almost. Like, she really is like the perfect human being.
First person to actively take an interest in Gojo's passion for Hina dolls, where she asks to see his doll after running into him in the home ec room.
That makes so much sense, no wonder. So, is that a Hina doll? Let me see it.
Yeah, here you go.
Wow. She's so beautiful.
Marin calls the doll beautiful and really admires the craftsmanship put into it, which blows Gojo away since he thought people would hate him for having a feminine interest. Despite his fears, Marin actually validates his love for Hina dolls, which he returns in full force by validating her hobby soon after, by helping her create cosplays. Marin is very proactive and she works to get what she wants. She doesn't do it by trampling people though, she's aware of others' boundaries, but that doesn't stop her assertive personality from taking control. Like, for example, when she invites herself to Gojo's house in episode 2. Marin looked up his Hina doll store and made her way there and basically lets herself in. Not before giving Gojo a cheesecake though, so at least she has some manners. When Gojo starts getting insecure about people at school thinking him and Marin are a couple, she doesn't give up on Gojo even after he starts purposely avoiding her. Instead, she tracks him down and forces him to open up to her about his insecurity before instantly reassuring him and taking him along on a fun shopping date. Marin has the personality of a leader through and through. She may not be a genius at everything, but her ability to plan, proactiveness, people skills, and overall confidence make her such a great role model, at least in my opinion. When I asked My Dress-Up Darling fan Evie Leafy on Twitter why she thinks Marin is such a popular character among women, she replied, "Marin being a girl who's very passionate but also open-minded is inspiring. Throughout the series, she's helped and inspired many with her passion and love for her hobby."
Yeah, that is...
Sorry.
That is... I mean, seeing someone being so, unapologetically, so unabashedly, passionate about anything, but I mean, especially something that you yourself are kind of ashamed of and like, kind of embarrassed about. That is, I mean, that's incredibly like reassuring, I guess. Like, I mean, I myself I shouldn't even say kind of. I myself went through something very similar when I found out about VTubers in like the 2020s, in the September of 2020, rather. Like, yeah, I've mentioned it in the video, but I'm an adult artist. I make adult art and whatnot, and for so long, I mean, for so long, I was basically Mr. Gojo over here, keeping it, on the hush hush, on the low, on down low, and everything. But seeing, getting into the VTubing space and seeing so many people, men, women, whatever, being very openly like horny and like open to like adult arts in like all shapes and forms. I really did. I mean, it's hard to understand just how like good that felt, being able to see like, oh, okay, I'm not some weirdo. Like, it turns out that a lot of people are horny on main out there. They're just just like me. They're hiding it to be functional members of society. But when you take away the fear of punishment or whatever of ridicule and all that stuff, then suddenly people can express their true feelings, and you realize that it's you're not some lone weirdo.
I cut my finger again.
Gojo has a hobby he cares about just
Yeah,
as
he sliced that
as
shit.
Marin, that being the creation of Hina dolls. He was made fun of for having such a seemingly feminine interest.
What's wrong with you, Wakana? Dolls are for girls!
Which pretty much traumatized him into becoming a very reserved person and not sharing much about him.
That girl must have... I mean, to be so... How to phrase it? So stuck on traditional gender roles like that at such a young age. Like, what's happening? Like, I mean, I'm kind of worried about this girl's home life. Like, what's going on that he's thinking that's her first thought, and she's this like righteously indignant about it. Like, damn.
Pretty much traumatized him into becoming a very reserved person and not sharing much about himself with others. In the end, a young Gojo decided to choose Hina dolls over human relationships, and thus spent a huge chunk of his...
Honestly, I never thought of it, but we do have very similar life stories. I mean, I was never... I remember I was never like fucking... like... I never had a peer like fucking read me the riot act for being in that kind of stuff as a kid. But I mean, you know, obviously you only need that when society is so down on any sort of sexual media or content at all. So just that is enough to make you, you know, to teach you to keep that sort of stuff to yourself. So, but yeah, this very, very similar life path of being like, well, I mean, if I have to choose between doing the things that I'm passionate about or having human connection, well, you know, I'll choose the thing that I'm passionate about 10 times out of 10, you know, so.
His formative years focusing only on making Hina dolls rather than friends. Gojo feels completely alone in his obsession with the dolls and thinks that no one else can understand him because of it. His grandpa is concerned about this and brings it up in the first episode, but Gojo lies and brushes it off.
But have you had any time to make real friends?
Of course, I have friends. Lots of them actually.
I've got all these
they're
Hina
in
dolls.
different clubs, so it's hard to plan stuff.
When Gojo first meets Marin, he thinks to himself, "We live in two completely different worlds. I can't believe she just spoke to me." But in reality, their situations mirror each other and they actually have a lot in common, even if at first it doesn't appear so. When it comes to Gojo, story editor and scriptwriter for the anime, Yoriko Tomita, had this to say about him.
I doubt I'm the only one that feels this way, but I think Wakana is the ideal man, and it's only natural that Marin would fall for him. He's kind, he doesn't say tactless things, and he's incredibly considerate.
That's another part of the story that kind of needs to be it's not complete talking about this series without talking about like Gojo himself is kind of like the fucking dream boy. Like there's a lot of fan service for people who are into men for the story. Like there's not. I mean, again, it's what I said at the beginning of the story, where this is a story that services all of its fans. Like it's not just servicing men or people attracted to women. It's servicing everyone, and from many multiple different angles at the same time too.
Goals he's working toward, which make you want to cheer him on. He does occasionally make pessimistic assumptions, but he always speaks up about them eventually, so they rarely lead to trouble. He's also able to pick up on what people who share his mindset are feeling and help them out, like he did with Shinju. He's exactly the sort of person I'd love to have around, and since I'd be able to rest easy if I had someone like him by my side, I took great care to make the viewers feel the same way.
Gojo Wakana is respectful, shy, and supportive, not your typical pervy protagonist. However, Gojo is a teenage boy, so of course he has his fantasies and often gets flustered by Marin's body, but he never touches her without her consent and is very apologetic when accidents do happen.
Breathe, concentrate, and whatever you do, do not actually touch Kitagawa.
I love the horror style music.
Gojo never puts the onus on Marin whenever he gets flustered. He actually beats himself up for it and calls himself pathetic.
I didn't mean to interrupt you while you were changing.
No, that's fine, but you good? Stomachache or?
No, I'm completely fine. Please don't worry. It's literally just a bathing suit. I'm so pathetic.
He treats her as a human being and often puts his personal feelings aside to support her cosplay endeavors, showing a very selfless, masculine side of himself when doing so. Much like how many ecchi are designed for the viewer to project onto the male MC, it's completely flipped on its head here. It's not hard to believe that female viewers see themselves as Marin and imagine a relationship with Gojo, who is basically the perfect boyfriend. It's obvious that many women are drawn to his gentle masculinity and emotional intelligence.
Ta-da! I wore a bathing suit.
It's not really accurate to boil down the ecchi genre to only represent anime and manga that are sloppy or poorly written simply because they happen to contain sexual content. Just because the sexual content may seem juvenile or tasteless to some, it doesn't necessarily taint the story as a whole solely for having fan service within it. While there are plenty of trashy ecchi shows that are pretty much just goon slop for teenage boys.
To be fair, DxD, High School DxD, it's kind of not a trashy harem or ecchi anime. I mean, yeah, it is one of the most famously shameless ones, but I mean, anyone who's gotten the story knows that it's many things, including being ecchi, but like it's a pretty impressively world-built story that like synthesizes like basically most world religions into a fairly complex and intricate kind of like magic system, which is crazy. I mean, I've never gotten too into it, but I mean, from what I've heard and what I've seen, the story, like there's a lot going on there, and ecchi is just kind of one of the things there. But probably, I mean, it's definitely, I think probably on purpose, the ecchi is certainly the face of it. Like that's the selling point of it. But I mean, it's one of those stories where like that's what brings you in through the front door, but then what keeps you, seated at the restaurant of the anime is more than just that.
To crank it to, there are also classic anime and manga that are highly regarded within the ecchi genre alongside the kinda stupid ones. In other words, not all ecchi are created equal, and I believe...
Yeah, I mean, it's just another genre. Man, like all other genres, they have... I mean, what's that quote about? Like 80% of all media is crap. So, I mean, definitely applies to ecchi. I mean, I guess some might say it's, in the case of ecchi, it's 100%, but those people probably haven't read a lot of or consumed a lot of ecchi, so I mean, I wouldn't give their opinion much weight.
This is a key component in My Dress Up Darling's success. Something I really like about Marin and Gojo's dynamic is how it kind of feels like a role reversal to the typical hot-headed boy and meek, shy girl couple. In a different ecchi show, maybe Gojo would be the one leading their relationship and being more assertive, while Marin struggles with her...
Traditionally, what it would be is that it'd be like like 1 or 2 seasons of accidental panty shots and like walk-ins in the shower or whatnot, and like the main MC not really making any honest moves. I mean, yeah, there'd probably be lots of like peeping or like fantasies or like other kinds of like just abortive attempts at like honestly like sexual assault. And then the female MC would be very what's the word, like pining very ineffectually after the MC, and then maybe at like the end of season 1 or even season 2 you get like a kiss or like a hand holding sort of thing. That's the sort of stereotypical imagining of a traditional romance anime for like a lot of us Western anime fans who've been traumatized by years, by decades at this point of just things that call themselves romance anime but really are anything but.
Be the one leading their relationship and being more assertive, while Marin struggles with her self-confidence. But no, here it's the complete opposite. Marin takes control of virtually every scene she's in. She's the one showing off her body, and Gojo is the one freaking out because of it. Instead of an anime girl and an ecchi going, "Kya!" when the MC cops a feel, Gojo is the one going, "Yo," when Marin
yes.
does well.
It is interesting though, because in recent years, it has definitely this specific dynamic has certainly become more common. I think. I mean, there's like Dangers in My Heart, a recent example. Obviously, the Nagatoro anime is also a good example of this. I mean, I think teasing Nagatoro was like one of the original ones back in like the before times of the late 2010s, as well as some other teasing heroine romances. But yeah, it's definitely. I don't know. I don't know if it's become more common. Certainly, there have been lots of high-profile examples of it recently. So. They're definitely breath of fresh air for a lot of us.
Because the series is about cosplay, it makes sense we would be seeing a lot of Marin's body.
Yes.
And paired with her outgoing and unashamed...
Actually, yeah, that's actually a... Because I did bring up how the story being very... having a lot of respect and clear expertise and knowledge in the cosplay industry, whatever, really, endeared it to the cosplayer community, a big part of the anime community itself. But, I mean, I didn't actually think about how it being about cosplay and things like that would really give it a very diegetic reason to have lots of what is typically, written off as fan service, lots of in-universe reasons to highlight the physicality and like the measurements of the characters' bodies. Something, this is a, in the fan service versus anti-fan service discourse, there is always this argument about, is fan service ever justified? And usually, when that part of the discussion comes up, people, usually will say things like, well, as long as it's, as long as it's, I guess, diegetic, as long as it's justified by character motivation and action, then it's fine. Even if it might be a begrudging fine, it's fine. And this is like that idea, but like made into the anime, basically. Like the whole story is kind of taking advantage of that idea. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but yeah.
Personality, it makes sense that we'd get to see a lot of her body. The fan service moments feel diegetic.
Yeah.
They don't really take me out of the show or make me feel like I'm intruding on this fictional...
Yeah, that take me out of the show phrase is like, it's... Yeah, I mean, it's basically, you do a drinking game where it's like, how quickly are you going to hear that phrase when any discussions with fan service come up? Like, I mean, as an artist myself who makes a lot of art, I am typically taken out of pretty much anything I read or watch or play, since I'm always, there's always part of that creator's brain kind of analyzing the art from the perspective of a fellow producer rather than just a consumer. So I've never really been able to relate to this idea of, well, fan service specifically, but any other thing taking you out of a story being a bad thing. Because for me, that's just how I experience stories in the first place. Like, it's hard for me to even imagine consuming a story and not being quote unquote taken out of it. But yeah, neither here nor there.
They don't really take me out of the show or make me feel like I'm intruding on this fictional character by watching. Marin's love of cosplay is totally contagious, and the fan service scenes where she's cosplaying feel celebratory of the hobby rather than exploitative.
Yep.
Marin loves the female form, as shown by her Shizuku addiction, and when she shows off her body, you can feel the pure confidence she exudes. Marin pretty much only gets embarrassed when it comes to her feelings towards Gojo, like when she realizes he thinks she's beautiful, a word that he purposely doesn't use very often.
北川さん、とても綺麗でした。俺にとって綺麗は特別なものに対する言葉になって、心から思った時でないと 言えないと言いますか。
Yeah, man's out here rizzing her just on accident.
I will say, amongst the shower of praise I'm releasing onto this show, there's one type of fan service in My Dress Up Darling that I absolutely hate.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Sajina Inui. Now, I don't think Juju is a horrible character. She's alright, and she has her appeal. However, the scene where Gojo walks in on her in the shower and sees everything is very, very tasteless in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, that is definitely, from what I've seen or heard, I guess that is the one example of this sort of classic, quote unquote, fan services. You know, everyone knows and hates, everyone knows and loves to hate. So I'm not surprised that was it Mimi Love was expressing, no, mimiyori is expressing, you know, distaste for it. I mean, certainly if you've been in the anime space long enough, you kind of get used to it, whether you want to or not. So it's kind of, but yeah.
I feel dirty even watching that part, along with the scene where we get an up.
Oh my lord! Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that feels very non-diegetic, I guess you could say. That feels very much like it's like a fucking wink and a nod to the audience, rather than something happening in the story.
It totally just feels like audience voyeurism, not the diegetic cosplay fan service that the show usually offers.
ねえねえ、それなんとかってアニメのやつ？超オタクじゃん。ないわ。
おめえがねえわ。
Cosplay, despite being something that anyone can participate
in,
is predominantly a female
Marin.
hobby. There are multiple reasons for this, like how women are expected to learn makeup for daily life, so learning cosplay makeup isn't a very big stretch. How women cosplaying men is totally normal and accepted, while men cosplaying female characters is still very taboo and frowned upon. Like how women tend to know more about hairstyling, so taking care of wigs and adjusting them to their needs is also less of a hurdle. Obviously, this isn't the case for...
Another thing to bring up is also just, I mean, I guess it depends on the series, but I mean, certainly the broad majority of them, a lot of the female characters, they tend to have more interesting, you know, get-ups than their male counterparts. Like, it's just across the board, you know, male fashion tends to be just a lot more boring, and there's apparently deep social historical reasons behind that, but I don't remember the specifics, so I'm not gonna try to like poorly recount those details, but yeah.
All women, I like to cosplay sometimes, and I'm pretty shit at all of the skills involved, but I think you understand.
I mean, this looks like a good cosplay.
Overall, cosplay is a female-centric hobby, and My Dress Up Darling...
I mean, this woman is very
treats
brave.
This hobby with the utmost care and respect. There are scenes for every single step of a homemade cosplayer's journey, whether it be mapping out your design, picking out fabrics, choosing a suitable wig to style, eye tapes, face tapes, specific makeup looks for your character's personality. There's a scene where Gojo explains how to wash your wig after use, which is a very helpful tip for anyone new to cosplaying or interested in the craft.
Yeah, it's a common, I mean, that's not an uncommon thing for like anime to do, where they basically take one kind of hobby or interest and, I mean, just go all in on the nitty gritty details. Like there's that recent anime about gems and mining, which, I mean, was written by a miner, I don't know, a gemstone collector or whatever. And I mean, like all of the mineralogists basically of the world descended upon that story, like the fucking mass production Avas on Asuka back in the end of Ava. But yeah, it's a common, that's not uncommon. I mean, honestly, you could probably call it a genre unto itself within the Japanese media sphere, maybe just anime and manga specifically. But it's a thing that exists already, and it was applied for the first time to cosplay, that's important because of the aforementioned sort of prominence that cosplayers have within the anime community.
あとは水をかえてお支払いをし、タオルで挟んで水気を切り、最後に陰干しにして終わりです。
なんだ、超余裕。
Not only that, the show even talks about the process of taking photos and doing touch-ups.
I love this camera because you don't have to change the lens for effects or different lighting.
That's interesting. But when would you switch out the lens?
It really depends on what you're going for. It's fun to experiment. Each lens makes it look totally different even when it's the same shot.
My Dress Up Darling treats cosplaying and cosplayers with
Actually,
so...
yeah, let me look at that. As an artist, as a illustrator, right? This is matching these things to the name is kind of important. I mean, I know about fisheye lens with telephoto, and that's one I don't hear a lot of, even though I've seen that effect done many times before. But yeah.
It's the same shot.
My Dress Up Darling treats cosplaying and cosplayers with so much love, care, and reverence, so of course women, the primary cosplayers of the world, would be drawn to this show. When I asked Marin Wakana, Marin_Wakana, another My Dress Up Darling focused account on Twitter, if she thought the series handled the art of cosplay well as a cosplayer herself, she wrote, in my opinion, the anime and manga do it perfectly. The mangaka really did her research and asked the right people. The makeup, wigs, and costumes are also detailed, and also the conventions capture everything so well. Even though not all of us have a gojo, we can buy or try to make our own cosplays, and it's pretty much the same process. Gojo takes it too far sometimes, he's a perfectionist. When I saw Marin cosplay, it made me want to do it too, and it was the best decision ever. Seeing others cosplay can give you the inspiration to try it out for yourself and discover a new passion. This happens to one such character in the series, Shinju Inui. Shinju is a bit of a difficult character to talk about because I find her both interesting and terrible at the same time. I really don't like how hard the show focuses on a middle schooler's chest size, but I also appreciated exploring the difficulties women with larger busts have when cosplaying certain characters, like men.
That's a diegetic reason to focus on the bust size, and if there weren't those very concerning like panty shots from earlier, I think there could be a lot of interesting things to say about like a middle schooler with this fucking outsized bust. And I've heard many experiences from women who had to go through that experience where sometimes people's bodies kind of hit puberty. Some people's bodies get hit by puberty like a damn truck, and those are I don't know, those experiences. How to phrase it? It'd be kind of a shame to not explore those experiences just because of the very earned distrust that people have towards anime because of just years of fucking exploitative panty shots and shower walk-in scenes and all that.
Revolves around her being afraid to cosplay her favorite character, a boy, because she's worried her body type won't fit, and that her cosplay attempt would ultimately disappoint her sister, Juju. However, Gojo supports her dream of cosplaying the character and helps her in every step of the process, including buying a chest binder. Shinju's mini-arc really shows the endless possibility of cosplay and complements Juju's arc of fulfilling the dreams you thought were impossible through the art of cosplaying. No matter what body type, what gender, what age, as long as you enjoy giving life to your favorite character, it's a great cosplay. This is a message that we see conveyed throughout My Dress Up Darling, a wonderful message that I'm sure many viewers appreciated, men and women alike. Cosplaying and being an otaku in general can be ostracizing, even in Japan, where you might think it's commonplace. While it is common to have a passing interest in some TV anime like One Piece, or even keep up with the latest Shonen Jump mag, if you're an actual hardcore otaku who spends most of your time watching anime, going to conventions, and cosplaying, you will most likely be judged, even in the birthplace of the medium, Japan.
I mean, yeah, the very term itself, otaku, I think it's changed now in Japan, but I mean, it was originally basically like a slur almost, and it was pretty much this weird kind of process of the Western, or really just the global anime fan base sort of taking that term on as like a at times begrudging, but mostly a term of endearment. Then came back to Japan and kind of sort of watered down the meaning, and I think in some cases made it something sort of like the global conception of what an otaku is. But I mean, that moment we saw that Ikemen kid basically insulting Marin's like was it a keychain or accessory for being anime. And like I heard him literally say the word otaku. Like the sub is translated as nerd, but he did say otaku. And I mean, the way Marin reacted, it's clear that the word still has this negative association, especially when spoken by a fucking normie like that. But yeah.
Cosplay in particular can be quite tricky to navigate due to the much stricter culture of IP and copyright protections in Japan.
Oh, yes,
You basically shouldn't cosplay outside unless you are at a very specific sanctioned anime event.
I had not considered the intersection between those two, using the draconian Japanese copyright laws, and then how that would affect, just cosplay's not accessibility, but like where it can be done.
This notion, you could be hit with some very violent vitriol, such as one particular Marcel cosplayer. This happened to the Japanese cosplayer Shikano Tsuno, who attended the Osaka Expo as the elf after reading up on the official rules of the event, which didn't forbid cosplay. Osaka Expo is primarily an event focusing on various countries showcasing technological and cultural contributions, so not really a pop culture or otaku.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to what mimiyori is saying, but like how I'm just looking at these are like 3D models that are all walking and shit. How? I mean, maybe they're using like a preset walk animation, but like holy moly, like this is a full ass crowd. Like I'm just imagining the like time and effort it took to like put this together.
Technological and cultural contribution.
There's me getting pulled out of the experience because I'm just too busy analyzing the production of the experience. But
so not really a pop culture or otaku event. Even so, Tsuno wanted to be Marcel, and the rules allowed cosplay. After exercising her free will by becoming Marcel at the expo and recording her journey on her note blog, she received thousands of hate comments and even some death threats. Jay Allen, the writer of the Unseen Japan article where I found this information, wrote, "Some social media users lit into her for sullying the image of Marcel by attending a non-otaku event in cosplay. People called her trash. Some even leaked personal information about her, such as the name."
Whenever I see stuff like this, well, like this social media style backlash, I might, my first response is always, just ignore this shit. But then, once they start doxing you and start, leaking your personal information like that, then it's kind of, how do you deal with that? Like,
name of the train station close to where she lives, resulting in her seeking advice from police. Basically, cosplaying outside of what is seen as a socially acceptable place to do it can get you into some pretty hot water in Japan.
Yeah, well, it's not surprising
Marin's
for Japan.
Bubbly, carefree, yet assertive personality allows her to navigate being popular and well-liked despite her more nerdy interests, such as anime and cosplay. Mari never cares what others think of her, and she never backs down when it comes to something she loves. Her ability to be both popular and a nerd at heart, yet still super down-to-earth and kind, makes her an easy character to idolize, especially for female anime fans. Have you ever been in this situation? Oh man, I sure wish I could watch more mimiyori videos, but the ones on her channel aren't enough. Or even, boy, I have so much extra money lying around. I sure do wish I could give a little bit of it a month to a weird blue swirly glasses freak so that she can continue making epic content about my favorite Japanese animes. If so, I have the perfect deal for you. At the lowest tier of the Mimiyori Patreon, $3 per month. I know you can scrounge around in your couch for that change. You get all Mimiyori videos at least a week before they premiere on YouTube. Plus, your name will appear at the end of all my future videos.
That's a fucking,
not only that,
the
if
Mimiyori
a YouTube video
Wojak
gets taken down by Aniplex, I will upload it to Patreon as well. Like this Monica video that totally didn't get me 500 million hate comments. Plus, you get access to my private Discord server. Ooh, we play Mudai in it. Ooh! If you're extra generous and can spare $10 or more a month, I make custom stickers and send them out to you, like these. And even if you don't want to commit, just like my ex-wife, you don't have to. You can simply make a one-time...
Why is he put up boomer humor for this ad? Like, you trying to get the boomer audience?
Purchase of my early videos for $3, no strings attached. So please check out my Patreon and join as a free member. That way, if I release a video that looks particularly interesting, you can buy it in the future to support me. If you can't afford to join my Patreon as a paid member, the best way to support me is liking this video and subscribing here on YouTube. Okay, back to the...
As an unemployed person, I won't be doing it. I won't be what's the word, patronizing any new people for the time being, but certainly, as you said, if you have $3 scrounge up, send some away. I mean, I've seen other videos of Mimiyori's, and she seems like a cool person. So I don't see why not to support her. But,
the video. If you've spent any time on Coquette or Kawaii Twitter/Tumblr, you've seen someone with a Marin icon. Marin is an undeniable mascot of kogyaru, kawaii fashion, cosplay, and many other feminine interests online. It's crazy because despite being an ecchi series, Marin has almost become a sort of feminist icon in online spaces. I asked a popular animanga-centered Twitter account, Milk, at Milky Noe, who often posts about My Dress Up Darling, why she thinks Marin is such a popular character among women in the anime sphere. This was her reply. I'd say Marin is popular among women in the animanga community due to her near universal relatability. Whether it's her passion for her special interests, her versatile fashion sense, her ideals, or even her experience in love with Wakana, Marin is a character anyone can relate to in some way, and I think that's the reason she's loved. Her design is also incredibly cute, so she appeals to my love for cuteness. In terms of the aesthetic appeal of My Dress Up Darling other than Marin herself, I think the way the show looks overall is a huge factor in its popularity. Cloverworks did such a wonderful job adapting the look and feel of the manga into animation.
Even the manga is gorgeous. So, being able to capture even a fraction of that would already go a long way in endearing you to I've been talking about the cosplay contingent. I mean, apparently we also got the Kogaru contingent. I mean, the Sakuga people, oh my lord. The Sakuga people definitely go crazy, especially for the body jiggles. I guess I am a bit of a Sakuga aficionado myself. So, I definitely see and appreciate how these animators, how lovingly they craft the fucking recoil of some of these body parts. But yeah.
The warm, vibrant colors give such a romantic flavor to each and every scene. The details the animators were able to capture with Marin's eyes, earrings, strands of hair, and intricate details of her cosplays is nothing short of awe-inspiring. There's one scene in particular that really grabbed my attention during the anime. It's during episode 3 after Marin drags Gojo along on a cosplay shopping spree and they're walking home together. The scene is dazzling, and again, while I was reading through the fanbook, saw that Marin's Japanese voice actress, Hina Sukuta, talks about it during her interview. She says,
"Besides the ocean scene, there was the scene in episode 3 where Marin is thanking Gojo-kun on the pedestrian bridge on their way home from Yuzawaya, and a car's headlights gradually illuminate her face. That made me feel like I was watching a drama. This may be an anime, but it's not very fantastical. What it depicts is a true-to-life relationship between two people. I wanted to make that realism come through in my acting as well, so I kept it in mind whenever I shared a scene with Shoya Ishige.
Truly, My Dress-Up Darling is a very grounded, authentic series, not only with how it depicts cosplay, but how it depicts romance. Each character's motivations, virtues, and flaws all come together to convey realistic representations of people you can meet in your daily life. Like Sugata said, the anime comes very close to emulating something like a live-action TV drama at points, despite some of the more comedic scenes the show offers. Besides how much I like the opening, I have to say, My Dress-Up Darling's ending song, Koi no Yukue, by Akari Akase, is by far one of my favorite anime ending sequences of all time. Every single thing about this ending
looks cute
oozes
as hell.
cuteness right down to the minute details. The simple, chibi art style with adorable animations, Gojo and Marin wearing a combination of space cadet helmets that also bring to mind underwater sea divers, the hearts with the Saturn-like rings, little octopi with antennae on them hammer home this space and ocean mashing together theming. The ocean is important for both Gojo and Marin, so it's easy to see how that's relevant, but I also like how it's combined with outer space. Both the ocean and outer space are uncharted territory, mysterious. Gojo has very little experience outside.
There's also a bit of imagery around being like space cadets, which is normally it's kind of an insult to call someone a space cadet, but when two space cadets get together and can sort of appreciate each other and their space cadetry, I mean, what is that if not the kind of ideal form of love, being able to gush about your interests with another person like that.
Like how it's combined with outer space. Both the ocean and outer space are uncharted territory, mysterious. Gojo has very little experience outside his small bubble of the world, but Marin introduces him to so many new things, just like an astronaut discovering the moon or a diver uncovering a new species of fish. The song itself, Koi no Yukue, translates to the whereabouts of my love, or maybe where my love is. So, like I said, the sea and space theme is representing the discovery of something new. I think the visual style of this ending is particularly attractive to women. It almost brings to mind the cuteness of characters from a mascot company like Sanrio or San-X. Besides the opening and ending being super catchy, wonderful songs, I also want to mention some of the OST. The original score for My Dress-Up Darling is fantastic and breathes life into every scene. I think it's a super underrated soundtrack, so I want to highlight some of my favorite songs used. This track in specific caught my attention. It's called Chikara ni Naritai, which basically translates to wanna be close to you. It feels very fluffy and shoujo-esque, even though I know that shoujo is more of a demographic than a genre. What I mean to say is it gives off very romantic vibes, like a song that plays when you fall in love. This track, Arigato, is also very emotional, and the jazzy rhythm brings to mind bouquet lights and the warm happiness of a fun date. The background music of this show is insanely good, and it wasn't until my second watch through that I started really noticing it.
I mean, I'm definitely...
Since I can't really sew, the only way I can help is by emptying my wallet, right?
No, that's not true.
Anyway, this meat roll is giving me life right now.
I'm definitely a big OST head, so I mean... Yeah, hearing that music, it does sound real good. And definitely probably should actually check out My Dress-Up Darling. It sounds like on every level of the production, it was just like a masterclass.
Dress-Up Darling features a strong, assertive, but still girly female lead who knows what she wants and chases after it no matter what. Combined with an incredibly likable, non-creepy, masculine, kind, and genuine male protagonist, it's no wonder why women flock to this series. The fan service moments are in character and mostly diegetic, meaning you aren't taken out of the show when watching. When I asked Milk what the appeal of My Dress-Up Darling was in her own words, she replied, "For me, there's two main things that appeal to me. First and foremost, I find the dynamic and love story of Wakana and Marin incredibly endearing and cute. Specifically, how they end up bringing the best out of each other, especially later in the series past what the anime has covered. Secondly, I find the main theme of the series, that your passions shouldn't be something to be ashamed of no matter what, to be incredibly profound. I really couldn't have said it better myself. Not being ashamed of who you are and what you love is such a huge aspect of the show, and the reason why Marin is so great at helping Gojo heal from his past. Marin Wakana on Twitter said something similar in response, writing, "The appeal of My Dress Up Darling for me is mostly the importance of your hobbies, the things you like. It's really important to enjoy the activities that make your heart happy. For Gojo, it's Hina dolls, and for Marin, it's cosplay. They accept each other's hobbies and don't question it, they even help each other. The first episode is crucial to this, with Marin saying that you should say what's on your mind, or that it doesn't matter being a boy or a girl if you like something. Also, it depicts a really good relationship that gets even better further into the manga. So, anime watchers, you are in for a ride if you enjoyed the first season, cause it only gets better." My plan for this video has been to release it on YouTube the same day as Season 2 Episode 1 of My Dress Up Darling comes out, so that if you've never seen the show, you can quickly catch up and join in on the fun watching it weekly with everyone else. If you've been on the fence about checking out this unlikely female phenomenon in anime, I really implore you to just give it a try. I'm sure you'll find at least one thing to love about it. Do you love My Dress Up Darling? What drew you in? Drop your thoughts below and make sure to like this video so I can make more anime content just like this. Thanks so much to the people who made this video happen, namely, all the Twitter users who blessed me with their responses to my interview questions. Please go and follow Milk, Marin Wakana, and Evie. All of them are so lovely. Additionally, She Says from Boundary Break, Absol Blogs Pokemon, and my friend Liz all helped me out by providing voices for some of the interview sections, so a huge shout out to them as well. Links to all of these incredible people will be provided in the description. Thank you so much to Dylan for editing as always, these videos wouldn't be possible without you. And thank you so much for watching the whole video. If you haven't clicked off yet, write Omurice in the comments so I know you're a real one.
I'll consider doing that, but yes. It was my pleasure to watch the video. It was a really good video. I mean, I mentioned I've seen Mimiyori's videos before. I watched her 100 Girlfriends video. That was also a really good one. I mean, yeah, definitely having seen, you know, all these little bits and pieces of the anime, like, it really does seem like My Dress Up Darling is just a master class in basically all, I mean, not even just all the fundamentals of anime or storytelling, but like even a lot of the niches, you know, all these niche interests and groups. I mean, it's kind of like a modern day classic, like instant classic kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, if you're obviously if you're a cosplay fan, if you're a Sakuga fan, I mean, hell, even if you're just a gooner, like, just, I mean, there's that that for you. Like, it really, there is something for everyone. So it's kind of not surprising that it's become a bit of a phenomenon. But yeah, didn't have too much in the way of notes, but just kind of, you know, just this little idea that I have heard before, but it does seem like My Dress Up Darling is really evidencing it. But, you know, this idea that people don't really hate fan service itself, rather they hate when, like, you know, a specific group is being serviced at the expense of everyone else, you know, like, and kind of unfortunately, a lot of people tend to take the, you know, instead of taking the other tack of being like, well, then make something for everyone, you know, make fan service for everyone, rather they tend to take the stance of, well, if I can't have fun, then no one can. That's like kind of sad, you know. It's like it'd be, yeah, it's kind of sad because that means that you don't get stories like My Dress Up Darling, like the people who are so down on fan service, they want it to not exist at all. I mean, like, how do I phrase this? Like, because obviously those people who are so down in fan service oftentimes like they're not explicitly saying it, but they oftentimes what they really mean is just, I mean, I guess specifically ecchi fan service, but it's like that's not, that's not in and of itself fan service. Like there's obviously many other types of fan service that we saw. Like I mean, the cosplay itself could be called cosplay fan service, and like like that is like, I mean, there's really no good definition of fan service that you come up with where that wouldn't be included. And it's like, I guess now what I'm talking about is like people being kind of lazy with their terms, basically. But basically the thrust of what I'm saying is that people should be demanding more inclusivity in their fan service rather than the total, I guess, abolition of it. But yeah, definitely, Just a Darling definitely seems like something that I would, I really should get on. I mean, it's been like fucking definitely 3 years, probably going on 4 years at this point, where it's been, a bit of a mainstay in the anime community, and I've just been kind of doing my own thing and not really paying too much attention to it. But it's like, maybe I should get out of my hermit cove and actually check it out. Yeah, great video. Definitely enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Consider liking, commenting, maybe even subscribing. And if you're feeling particularly generous and of age in your country of residence, try visiting these links up in the corner. Anyway, here are some more videos to check out, and until next time, take care.